Hello, hello. How is everybody? All right, so here's the deal. Things are kind of crazy. I got out of an IEP meeting. I'm on the East Coast, and it is 6:46 here. And literally 20 minutes ago, I just got out of an IEP meeting that started at 9:30 a.m. It's not p.m. yet, so a.m. Okay? Yeah, nuts. But what I will say is this district is so much better than many others in that regard. And I'll tell you why. So I'm going to give them props, even though we definitely can go at it. I went ahead and put in chat the link for any of you guys on group so that you can click the link so that I can see your picture when you comment. All right. So post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Make sure you say hi, tell us where you're from, tell us about your child, and welcome. If you haven't joined the group, go to Autism Mama Rocks IEP group right there in the Facebook search and join the group. It's a private group. So with that said, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. Really what that means is when you walk into the IEP meeting, I basically will teach you how to kick some ass and get your child what you need. And I'm not the sugarcoat advocate, so I'm not the one for you. You want to leave my page very quietly if that's not the type of advocate that you really want to listen to, or I'm your cup of tea, because not everybody is each other's cup of tea, right? So I love IEP meetings. They drain me like they did today. My God. But I will say I am still standing. Okay. We started at 9:30 this morning. We just missed, the 6:30 mark. So about 20 minutes ago, we just ended that IEP. All right. But we got through it. And that's where I'm going to give that team props. Is we had some rocky times. Specifically with that BIP, and for those of you who know me, you know that I am a stickler for reading and behavior. Those are my two areas of what I would say is my expertise, because I'm not good at sports. I'm not good at a lot of things, but behavior and reading, I got you. And so it's one of those things where they just didn't put an antecedent into the BIP and called it a BIP, and then didn't tell the parent they were doing an FBA because they said they were doing an FBR, which is a review, which is what they do in Texas. So did you do an F and FBR, or did you do a FBA? Why would you do FBR if you're going to do an FBA? I mean, I'm all about productivity and doing things and, them not taking as much time. Why would you do 2 things when you could have done 1 and you didn't tell the parent that you did an FBA? Then you come up with a BIP and have the teacher write the BIP as a collaborative thing when teachers are not behavior therapists. They are not specific and targeted and trained in behavior. Why are they writing BIPs? Makes no freaking sense. All right. If it says an idea that they have to be the most qualified individual, even though, guys, I will tell you, it does say that it could be a psychologist and other people. Well, what happens when that happens is the psychologist is there and saying, hi, how are you? What's up? And everybody else does it. All right. So they're like the little, watcher. And then the teachers do it. And then you got a totally screwed up BIP. And then everybody wonders why the child has behaviors that aren't changing. Stop wondering, IEP teams, because you guys put the child in that position, you piss off the parents, and nothing gets resolved because you have the wrong people doing the evaluations. Bad evaluation. Just saying. But that's not why we're on here. We're on here because, gosh, should we file? Okay, so I found what I call, I'm just going to call it a winner chicken dinner, okay? Because when I go through and this is the parent's file for this child. All right, and there's more. I keep Google Docs. And so today I decided to get paper clips out and put things together because this IEP team seems to like to confuse the hell out of the parent and send within a 4-month period 4 separate present levels, 4 separate goals, and 4 separate the remaining of the IEP document. So you got 4 separate goals sent by themselves, 4 separate present levels by themselves, and 4 separate the rest of the document. How would that not confuse the heck out of a parent? It's going to. And they do that crap on purpose. And then they say, oh, well, we always have to send something, before every meeting because, the child's going to change and we have to put it in the present levels. I'm like, if that was the case, then we wouldn't have yearly annual IEPs. We don't go changing them every 2 weeks. All right. It just doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't. Save it. I'd rather you not say anything at all than feed me bullshit. All right. So I have this document. It's called a PWN. You guys know what that is, right? Prior written notice. I'm going through so much, trying to learn this. Hey, Linda, you got it. You got it. And, ask for help when you need it and get your child's IEP together and then continue learning because it takes time. Raquel says, I'm tired of all the lies as well. Yeah. Hey, Erin, how are you? Okay. Yes, make sure you say hi, post a 1 below. If it's your first through third time catching me live, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, and make sure to tell us where you're from, okay? So I have the PWN in front of me. The prior written notice is where when you're in an IEP meeting, there's things that are proposed that could be proposed by you or them, and then are refused typically by them. And so in this prior written notice, this is not, they actually in Texas in this document did the wrong thing. And they combined a notice of decision with the prior written notice, which should not happen. Okay. It's not like not allowed, but then you got to go and provide another PWN because this one doesn't have all the information that's required to have. So we've yet to get that all the way since November. So now we have number 1, there you go, a document, a PWN that lacks the specific information that it is required by state and federal law to have in it. Okay? Which is the proposed, the refused, and you have to, anything that is refused has to be detailed as to why it was refused. Detailed, not, oh, we just refused it because we felt like it. Oh, it is in our expertise and knowledge that we don't believe the child needs it. That's not a reason. It has to be a direct reason why, supportive of that sentence. Okay? Not here. So they failed to send a PWN basically with the right material information in it. All right. Violation 2. Here's the big one. So who out there knows what is called specially designed instruction? All right. Specially designed instruction is very important. It is when your child individually receives help. Okay. So it can be, it's usually when they're taken out of the classroom. All right. And they are given instruction in order to meet their needs, in order for them to make progress, because in the gen ed setting or even in the special ed setting, maybe they are not receiving the help and the support that they need in order to make, sufficient progress. And, I said I was going to do this and I'm going to do it again. I'll do the difference for you in another live where I talk about high yield instructional strategies versus specially designed instruction, so you understand the difference and give examples of what that means. But for today, we're going to talk about the screw up here of what they did. The big oh shit is what they're saying. Okay? Because when I brought it up, there was 8 faces that said, oh shit. Okay. I mean, literally. I mean, and then the scrambling of words to try to fix it. And I had to just squash it and say, okay, stop. Just stop. Okay. Stop. You know, um, in with some of my master's level classes years ago, I took a course on the 5 things people do before they lie. And 2 of them they always do before they start talking. All right. And the thing with that is that has helped so much in IEP meetings. I cannot even tell you. And when I do private training, I teach people about this because it's genius. And you will catch them left and right on the lies. And then you'll start saying to yourself, you'll be taking these mental notes and then notes on your paper and saying, yes, they're lying on that. And it's going to make you go look it back up because you realize that they lied. And, not that nobody's lied in their life. I think we've all lied in our lifetime. All right, let's just keep it real. But for school districts to continue to lie and lie and lie and lie and lie in reference to a child's education is just a no-no. All right. So I get it. We all screw up. We all make mistakes. We all have said things that, okay, yeah, I did that. And no, I didn't do that. Never. No, I didn't do that. All right. So we've all kind of had that years ago if we're older or maybe recently, whatever. But the thing is when you're talking about a child's education, that's just a no-no. There's certain things that are just a no-no. Okay. And so specially designed instruction is important. I mean, it is their education. It is meaning that they are not able to learn something in the situation that they're in, whether that's in gen ed or wherever it is. Okay. And so they're having to be removed or even given in the classroom. So it's not always a removing. Okay. Where they're getting instruction that's conducted in the home, in the school, in the classroom, or separately in a resource room. I don't care, in the hallway, whatever. Okay. But that instruction is in order for them to make progress. All right. Sometimes it has to do with state standards. Sometimes it has to do with, like a vocational education. So, if you're looking at, transferring and stuff like that, you're just focused on whatever it is that child needs. You can't look at it as like a one way, it's always math and reading, which it typically is. But you know what I'm saying? It's not just a one-way street. It's whatever it is that child needs, that they need to be kind of taken to the side, if you will, and given that kind of one-on-one loving so that they can grow. All right. It's kind of really not even something that I personally would consider special. Don't think that just because your child has special needs that, they're just the only ones that can get, specially designed instruction or would need it. Because believe it or not, even gen ed kids can benefit from specially designed instruction because we all learn differently. We all, focus differently. And sometimes just having that right person, by our side saying, okay, let's try it this way and away from the main class, and just having that one-on-one for that time being so that we can kind of get it is what it's for. All right. And it's for them to make progress, and it's for them to make progress, and it's for them to make progress. And without it, they can't make progress. All right. So that's typically what it's given for. And in Texas, the craziest thing is it's very outlined. All right. And it's pretty darn clear with what it says, what has to be. And for some reason, this school district thinks that they are exempt. I don't know. But they keep trying to, it's like, stop the bullshit is where we're at. When I brought this up, and I'm going to tell you about it in a second, It was something, I'll just start from the beginning. We were in an IEP meeting, 2 IEP meetings ago. Today was meeting number 3. Again, started at 9:30 and just ended at 6:30 tonight Eastern time. And I had asked the principal or anybody, what's going on? You know, they said that they were taking him out with other children so that he could get a reading service for 30 minutes with other children, gen ed kids. They kept emphasizing this. Oh, we give it to all children. We give it to all children. We give it to all children, because they know if they say that then it's not specific to your child. All right. Because as we know, in a legal way, as IDEA states, they can't treat your child differently than a gen ed child, all right? Or that's a violation of your child's civil rights and discrimination. And they also don't have to call something specially designed instruction or anything else related to an IEP if it's given to everybody, all children, okay? So they keep emphasizing that. I mean, that's number 1 red flag. If you're gonna emphasize something, then you're gonna trip over your words when I have questions, instead of be confident in what you're saying and knowing what you're saying is true and what's happening and how you're implementing it. And if you're implementing it with fidelity, then there's no reason to be caught up on your words and kind of just talking as fast as you can, because you just are trying to come up with something, I guess, to convince me. And the more you talk, the less you're convincing me that you're just full of shit. And so it's kind of like, as adults, we just got to stop talking. Just stop talking and realize the fact that you screwed up and just own it and move on. You know, don't keep the bullshit going. I mean, that's just not productive. All right. And the only person that it causes a disservice to is the child. All right. So I'm not trying to be nasty. So I know they watch me. Okay. So I'm not trying to be nasty, but I'm just telling you that you all are the ones that look like fools, continuing to ramble because you're lying and being dishonest, when all you have to do is say, yeah, we screwed up. We should have named it as this. We should have brought it to the table and had a meeting, or asked if the mom was open to, you know, sending an email to amend some things or whatnot, and just been transparent about the transaction and how it could have gone down, versus talk when we catch you and you're already caught. I mean, why are you lying after you got caught? It's so stupid. Just don't embarrass yourselves any more than you already have, because you could, I mean, there's no one faults somebody for coming clean and saying, all right, I shouldn't have done that. We should have come to the table. I don't fault them for that, unless it's like over and over and over, but I don't fault them for that. So what I'm faulting you for is you didn't come clean. What I'm faulting you for is we got you. And what I'm faulting you for is we are going to hold you accountable. We are. So in that meeting, the principal said they were taking him out with other kids. And then I said, oh, weird. This is what I said in the meeting. So you're taking him out of the classroom. Did you tell mom? No, we don't have to do that when it's done with all the kids. I said, oh, whoa. Yes, you do. If the child's taken out of the classroom. If everything's being done in the classroom with all the children, no, you don't have to say anything. But if you're taking her child out of the classroom, I don't care if it's with the pet rabbit, you have to tell mom and dad or caregiver. They have a right to know that their child is being taken out of the classroom to be accommodated in some way, shape, or form by themselves with other children. Doesn't matter. You have an obligation to the parent. Okay? They need to know what's going on with their child. They need to know that you took their child out of the classroom. And why? So if it's given to all children, then you send a freaking letter, email or mail, and you send it to all the parents. And you just say, hey, we're taking your child out of the classroom for 30 minutes for a reading resource. As an awesome thing that we do. That's all you got to do. Super simple. But instead, you don't tell the parent that her child's being taken out of class for 30 minutes of reading resource. Then you don't tell the parent that not only was he taken out of the classroom for reading resource, which would actually have been a good thing had you just said something, but then you take him out of the classroom for reading resource, then he can't be in reading resource because of his behavior. So they remove him from the reading resource and put him in individual one-to-one. And you're not going to call that specially designed instruction? Like, what is wrong with you? Continuing. Oh, no, we offer to every child. We offer to every child. We don't have to do that. We don't do that. It's not specially designed instruction. It's offered to everybody. We just had to withdraw him from all the other kids because of his behavior. So now we're working with him by himself. I don't care. It's still specially designed instruction. Okay? This is a Yeti cup. Just because I say, nope, you're not a Yeti cup. Nope, this doesn't say beach girl. Nope, you are not a Yeti cup. Does that Yeti cup change? No, it's still a damn Yeti cup. So don't tell me that specially designed instruction is not when you take a child out of the classroom and you work with them one-on-one. Come on. And then you're going to run at the mouth to try to justify what you're doing and try to, I guess, convince somebody that that's true. Let me calm down a second. It's hot in here. All right. So that's what happened in the first meeting. Second meeting, we kind of left it alone. I actually met with them on the side because I flipped shit. And so I wanted to apologize for my actions because that's how I am. And say, hey, I shouldn't have gotten as angry as I did. That doesn't mean they didn't do wrong. I just didn't want to have that on my conscience of being angry. I'm angry because things have transpired since then. But I did that because I like to have that clean slate, and I will never, ever not admit if I'm wrong. And I've learned my lessons in life. We all got to learn them. Why don't they get to take responsibility for their actions? And, so I did that for my own conscience. I didn't do anything or say anything that was so crazy that I had to. I just did it because I got angry and I didn't want to give them the power for me to raise my voice the way I did because I was so irate that they were so full of shit. And so things calmed down a little bit. Then the next meeting, we touched on it, but I just didn't push on it. We wanted to get through the IEP some more. Now, then mom gets a letter in the mail. It's funny. It's like with evaluations, you start questioning evaluations, you start questioning things, and all of a sudden you get all these damn benchmarks and you get other assessments. They pull the stuff out their ass. All right. And they get all kinds of scoring for you that isn't really the scoring and it isn't really on the forums that they should be on, or isn't the scoring that you should be seeing. And you're thinking all of a sudden that you're just getting data. So anyway, mom gets this letter. All right. And the letter says that her child is now getting a reading support with all the other kids. Here, hold on. I need to make sure there's no names. Okay, there's not. So she gets this letter. All right. Your child has been selected to participate in a leveled literacy intervention, or LLI. I don't like leveled literacy. It sucks anyway. She will have daily 30-minute lessons during which she will read, write, and learn about phonics. Well, that is not the basics in reading. That is a little bit of a step away. The LLI lessons are given in addition to regular reading instruction your child receives in the classroom. Each night, your child will bring home a book, a take-home book, which is a copy of the book she already read in school. Your child can take the take-home book to you, an older brother or sister or caregiver. You can even have your child read his or her stuffed animal. The idea is to have him or her read every night and give him or her time to practice what she has learned about reading. Enjoy. Sincerely yours. All of a sudden, that starts the day after the IEP meeting on 11:30. So we get this on 11:31 after we called them out on their bullshit that they were not going to admit on when they took the child out of the classroom, didn't tell the parents that the child was taken out of the classroom, gave the child instructions supposedly with other children, gen ed children. So hopefully their parents were called and that they were taken out of the classroom, who knows. And then this child was then taken away from the gen ed students in this so-called reading program for 30 minutes and taken and worked with by himself, which would have been fine had it all been transparent, and worked on one-to-one because his behavior was out of hand. Mom knows nothing about this. Dad knew nothing. Mom knew nothing. Grandparents knew nothing. Nobody knew nothing. Zero. Had I not asked the questions like I teach in my course, always ask questions, never make a statement in an IEP meeting. Ever. Never make a statement in an IEP meeting. Ever, ever, ever. Always listen, always ask questions. They say something, ask a question. If you don't have a question off of every little detail that they ask, something happened. They didn't say enough for you. You didn't ask a good enough question. You should always get an answer in which you can ask another question. And if you don't ask questions, you're not going to get the answers that you need. And if you don't get the answers that you need, that's when you're in trouble. Just like last week, I told you how if I didn't ask the questions that I did in that IEP meeting last week, guess what? Mom would have never known that her son was pouring water in electrical sockets and the teacher never told her. Ever. But all of a sudden it comes out because Raven comes in and I don't sugarcoat anything. I say it how it is and I ask questions. Why is this BIP not on point? Why is there not an antecedent? What is causing the behavior? You're trying to change his placement. What is causing the behavior in the classroom? What is happening? Oh, he's being physical. He's doing this. He's doing that. What is he doing? Where are you? Where's the one-on-one? I ask question after question after question. I know that damn story so well. After my questions, there's no other question to ask because you have zero. That's what you got to do. If you want the answers about your child and you're saying, what's going on? I don't know what's happening in the school. I don't know what they're doing with my child. My child's nonverbal. All these things. Ask questions. And every single question is important. You build off your questions. You build and you build like you're walking up steps. All right? Ask questions like you're walking up steps. If you want, one thing that I challenged somebody to do, and it actually worked out really well, is I said, how many steps are typically in a stairwell? I think it's like 12, right? So ask 12 questions always. Don't move to the next person or move to the next subject until you ask 12 questions in regards to that subject. Until you do that, do not move on. And she did it. And you can't not get information, right? So listen, ask questions. Listen, ask questions. The only statements you will ever say should be what I heard you say was whatever it was. Because guess what? What does that do? Get them talking some more. The more they talk, the more you learn. That's what you need. You need to know what's happening with your child in school. You need to know how it's happening, when it's happening, and what's going on while it's happening. So that you know that your child is making progress. Because let me tell you something. The stuff I have seen just this year, forget COVID. COVID's gone. Let's just talk about this year. This year, I have seen so much deceiving and deceitfulness. I don't even know how to digest it myself. It's so deceitful and so wrong. And I'm like, do you realize how much time and effort it takes to lie to parents like this? How much easier it would be just to be honest. And if they're mad, they're mad, but at least you're honest and you move on. Than to take the time to be liars. And then to do the number one thing that liars do, which is bullshit some more and run at the mouth. It's just pure stupidity out of an educational system that should be an intelligent system. Now, I will say there are many that are. This is not going to everybody in the United States. But there's a whole lot of people because I've dealt with them. And I have finally just gotten to the point and said, is it that fun being this ridiculous? Is it worth it lying over and over? How much effort does it take you? Do you realize it wouldn't take any effort just to be honest and you move on? Okay, you violated. I may probably bet that parents wouldn't file as many complaints if you were transparent and violated, because they would say, okay, there's a trust factor there. They owned it. We all screw up. Let's keep moving. I bet there would be less angry parents if you just were transparent. We know our children have special needs. We know that they're going to learn a bit slower. Most parents are typically understanding. But especially with special needs parents, and I'm just going to speak for myself, it's a different ball game. Tell me how you feel. Post it in the comments. All right, post comments. Once I'm done, I got to keep my mindset where it is, and then I will answer comments. But just for me, I'll answer for me, okay? I have 2 children other than Skylar. Skylar's 16. She has autism and dyslexia. And then she has a lot of compulsive actions. And then I have my other 2, Elena and Justin, and they're 26 and 21. One's military, one's a teacher. An English teacher. So I did not worry about them the way I do Skylar. I think maybe once for both of them, twice maybe I'm being too lenient, but twice maybe for both of them. Justin and I had to switch teachers one time, and one time I had to go into the school because, something in elementary school happened. And Elena, she called her assistant principal an asshole because he was. And he caught her saying it under her breath. And then there was something else. All right. So very low things. Okay. And yes, I was that parent. He was a jerk. He was a jerk to me. He's a jerk to other parents. So when he called and said, hey, your daughter called me an asshole, I said, well, were you? But I am normally a very strict parent. But for that one, I had to say, well, were you? Because he was. So, and it wasn't like she said it to his face. She was walking away and, whatever. Okay. So I never had to worry about them. And, but Skylar, as a parent, how do you guys feel? Post that below. I just have been, I'm emotional. I cry a lot if I'm really talking about a lot of her deficits and, the way I feel even to this day on, feeling like I failed her. Now she's doing wonderful now, but that I still have that guilt, like in that, that gut part, of your belly. And it's heart-wrenching. And to just try to make sense of why this is done, not just one time. We're talking over and over and over and over and over. And I have no answers for you. None of why it's done. And it causes me more work, damn it. I mean, I went through this literally and paper clipped all of these documents because I had to put them side by side by side because I needed to figure out what the hell there was 4 PLAFs for. And over a 4-month period. And then 4 different goals. And then 4 separate sets of the IEP that didn't have the goals and the PLAF in it, which is freaking weird. And then I just, so frustrating. And, you know, them not having an answer to why are all of your PLAFs different? He changed in a month and a half. I mean, why are we having yearly, you know, annual IEPs? You know, not that you shouldn't go more. He's fine, Sky. Yeah. Not that you shouldn't go more than once a year. You should. I always say in the beginning, once you get your IEP on point, I tell my parents, go every time you get a progress report, go chit chat. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes, but you go chit chat. And, you know, then when things, you know, the trust starts adding back up again, then you can have a little bit more time, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And then, you know what I mean? But that has to build back up. And many times you do that whole, you know, after every, you know, progress report, it doesn't tell you shit. And then you may go to 2 or 3 times a year and then they screw up again. So then you're back to square one, you know? And it's just frustrating. So here's what happened. So after that meeting on 11:30, all right, that I just told you about, where they tried to catch themselves on taking the child out of the classroom, then they're giving him one-to-one instruction because of his behavior. Never told parents squat. Parents didn't even know he was being taken out of class. And then again, the next meeting, which was December, we just, you know, let things go and tried to finish the IEP. And then, you know, we met again today and we got through 3/4 of the IEP, thank God. But I found this last night. And that's why I go through documents. Yes. And that means this is nothing, this file. All right. But yeah, I go through every single freaking document and I'm a highlighter girl. Yep. I highlight and sticky note and I do it all. All right. Sticky note, highlight, you name it. And so this is what it says. Remember they said, oh no, we are not doing specifically design instruction. This is given to all children. He's taken out of the classroom with all other children. So now we're thinking, okay, you know, whatever. You know, we kind of let it go in the meeting and, you know, we thought everything was fine. And then we find out that he's being separated now again to be by himself because of his behavior. Again, mom not told anything. So then here, I'm like, what is this? This is another double, and I'm stapling it together. And I'm like, oh, look. And I'm talking to mom this morning before our meeting. And I said, listen to this. I said, it says it's a PWN and notice of decision. And it says why decisions was made. So I read it to her and it says, the student, his name, continues to need specially designed instruction in order to continue making progress. Student's name has a documented disability and benefits from the special education services that have been implemented. So the meeting's 11:30. We get this 12:09. All right. We didn't meet again, and this wasn't talked about. So it wasn't referenced because I knew we were talking about something else. So I didn't reference all of the data. Then I pull everything out again. This is why you always look at your documents over and over and over and over. Not one time, not 2 times, not 3 times. Damn it. You look at it every week if you have to. You memorize this stuff. All right. I staple things. I put things together. I put them in Google Docs. I separate the Google Docs and drives to IEP 2020, IEP 2021. I will do it by month sometimes. I'll do, if I'm going to mediation, I'll put mediation 2020. I separate and itemize everything. And with the document here, what this is, all right, for those of you who may not be familiar with what just happened here, is I'm talking to an IEP team. They're telling the parent that, hey, we're taking your child out of the classroom with other gen ed kids. We didn't tell you nothing, but your advocate happened to ask, so we're telling you now. And then, oh, but we're not taking them out of the classroom anymore with other kids. We're taking them out of the classroom and we're giving them one-on-one instruction and reading for 30 minutes because of his behavior. Again, we didn't tell you what, you didn't need to know that. You didn't need to know that because he's still giving instruction that everybody else gets. Okay? This is what I want to say when I hear that. I want to say, okay, dummy, how are you telling me that every other kid gets one-on-one when you just said all the children are getting a together instruction? Now it is no longer what everybody else is getting because you removed him from the instruction from everybody getting it and all gen ed kids and put him in a single standalone therapy. Specially designed instruction. That is the epitome of it. But you're going to still continue to try to convince me, even after your own Texas documents have a document that says specially designed instruction. Go freaking read it. Specially designed instruction is exactly what you were doing. Not that it's bad. Specially designed instruction is good. So why would you try to label it as not a specially designed instruction? Because you don't want to give specially designed instruction, because you don't want to be transparent, because you don't want to be obligated to give a child a specific need, to fulfill a specific need, to fulfill a specific service or an accommodation or modification and be mandated to do it. Let's just keep it freaking real. So instead, you screw yourselves by lying to the parent, and now we gotcha. And that's what happens when people lie. If you are going to do this, you will always get caught. And parents, I'm telling you, learn your stuff or work with an advocate that knows their stuff. There's a couple advocates out there that know their stuff. Only work with the ones that know their stuff. If you're being lied to or your gut tells you you're being lied to, more likely than not, you are. You need somebody who's going to find out what that is, or you find out what that is. Because had this not been found, all right, on top of the fact of I already noted areas of need, and this is a child that does not have that picture perfect, I need help, okay? They're actually that interesting, beautiful piece of artwork that you're trying to figure out, how do I put that all together to make that beautiful picture? It is interesting. And then you got to put something together in order to create this beautiful human being. And so there's certain things that he has difficulty with that is not going to just come to anybody. It's not going to be right there in your face. I think that's what some, educators feel. And, this isn't just the teachers, because here's the thing. It's actually most of the time not the teachers, because the teachers will tell the parents what's going on a lot of the time. And they'll say, hey, this is what's going on. This, what's up. And then the parent actually says something, doesn't throw the teacher under the bus, says something, and then administration tells everybody to shut up. And then everybody shuts up. That's what happened today. I mean, no one talks unless I'm like, hello, hi, how are you? Talk. Because nobody wants to say something wrong. It's like, if you're telling the truth, why would you be worried about saying something wrong? So, long story short, you can't tell me the child doesn't need specially designed instruction because you put it in the PWN yourselves. After the IEP meeting that you specifically said that he was not getting specifically designed instruction, after the IEP that you argued the fact that he was not getting specifically designed instruction and that he was getting an instruction that was done outside of the class with all the other children. But all the other children were not getting separate instruction, which is what had happened because of his behavior. We get this huge argument in the meeting on 11:30, but then they go state, child continues to need specially designed instruction in order to continue making progress. My mom always told me that, when you do something wrong, you're gonna pay the price or it's gonna catch up to you. And I can tell you firsthand that does happen. I got in trouble a lot. And so when you do something wrong, you're gonna get caught. And so when you get caught by me, I'm gonna hold you accountable. And when I hold you accountable, I don't have to do anything other than write something up. And you guys told on yourselves. You guys did it. So thank you. You made my job really easy. And so now all the parent has to do is go to OCR. Because an OCR complaint for discrimination is if your child is given a service accommodation modification and the school is not implementing it with fidelity. Or they say your child needs a service accommodation or modification in order to make progress, and they have not given it to them. And from what they told us in the meeting after the 11:30 and today, they're not giving it to them. Okay, bye. That's it. That's my story. See y'all later. I'm just kidding. All right, so that's it. That's it. I'm done. My rant is over. All right, how does it go when you're ready to throw a fit in the IEP meeting? What do they say? Okay, the meeting's over. Oh, you're attacking my staff. Meeting's over. It's become a rotating joke. All right. So hi Raquel, how are you? I'm tired of the lies as well. Linda Blue says I'm so going through so much trying to learn. Leanne says hello. Hi Leanne, how are you? Linda says she's from Austin, Texas. She says I believe we'll be transitioning from a 504 to an IEP. That's awesome. Ashley says specially designed instruction. Yes, encouragement is a beautiful thing. All right. And Nan is from Texas as well. So, you're close to Manor, Texas. Yeah, you Texas peeps yeah, I do a lot of cases in Texas. Then we have Kim. Hello. All right. So, Linda says, what would you recommend? Here, I'll put it over there. What would you recommend me to start to learn some information about the IEP? Because this is all new to me. Well, you can always take my course, my big course that goes through start to finish from initial evaluations and eligibility all the way to the end, okay, to transition into adulthood. And my membership that's coming up. Or you can get your Google PhD like me, but that isn't going to teach you how to do what you got to do in the IEP meeting, if that makes sense. So, so there's different ways, my membership opens in 2 weeks. And then my course is, I have to say my course is amazing. It is. I mean, it just is. So, and it's being refurbished right now and is launching in 2 weeks with all brand new stuff. So if you already have the course, guys, if you see that the PDFs and everything are not all there, it's because it's all being revamped. And I have, not what I had before. Let's just say it's just shy of 100 documents. So I'm giving you guys a lot of stuff from the course. And I made a lot for the membership, because remember I told you I'm going to give you my stuff, my secret sauces, my first email that makes the impact it does. If you live in Illinois, please move away. You don't want to live there. So I'm excited for a lot of that stuff to come. So that's a good thing. So hopefully that helps you, Linda. Yeah, sure, come back. So Sherry, girl, if I had one wish, it would be to have you by my side tomorrow for my daughter Skylar. Each year I'm meeting, I found an advocate and I just got all the results back and a draft of her evaluations. And the meeting tomorrow, and it sounds like the advocate might not have any time to go over this with me before the meeting because she is busy. What? This is my second go around with the school. What do you mean your advocate's not going to have time to go over things with you before your meeting because she's busy? She shouldn't have taken your case if she's busy. I mean, you always meet with the client before the IEP meeting and then before that. I don't care. I mean, I've met with clients up to 10, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, you do what you got to do. I mean, you fire her. Okay, what else? Hey, Bill, how are you? Kim says, I don't know why the schools can't do what's right for our children. The school should give parents an IEP 101, what to expect. Kind of like what to expect when you're expecting. Yeah, they need to do that. I should write that book. What to expect when you're going to an IEP. Ooh, that's a good book. I don't know why the schools, nothing ever got done. Yep. Raquel says your mom was right. When you continue doing something wrong, you will get caught. We have our first IEP meeting with my son's elementary team on Monday. Other meetings have been with the preschool team. You are good. Thank you, Raquel says. Karen, hello. Says, I can't wait for your course and membership to start. Well, the course is there. All right. I'm just adding a lot of documents to it. So like the course is there, the workbook's there. Feel free if you want me to send you the link. But as far as the course, it's there. All right, girl. As far as the documents that are additional, that are just additional, they're not part of the workbook or the course. I'm replacing them all. So you'll get tons. Okay. And the membership I'm excited about because the membership is specific. So it's not going to be for everybody. It's going to be for those who want to become advocates, maybe change careers. I am. Okay. It's for those who want to learn to kick ass in the IEP meeting. And I don't mean physically. But I'm also not the type of advocate to say, oh, let's go talk and discuss things. Let's go talk and discuss things. Come on now. All right. Come on. I mean, I will say today and yesterday, teams, I think for me, teams are learning. And they're learning that I can work with them if they actually relieve themselves of their power struggle. Okay. And so once they release that power struggle and that ego, then it's smooth sailing. But they got to release that, they got to do some counseling with themselves and release that ego and power struggle. And then things work out. It's really right, Kim? Bill? So once they kind of, do special education, district counseling, then they have this aha, come to Jesus moment of, okay, now we can work with Raven. I'm just guessing. So it seems to happen. But in reality, I don't know what happens. All I know is they want to fight and fight and fight and push back, push back, push back. And me, bring it. I'm okay with that. It's taxing, it's time consuming, it's stressful. I leave the meeting like, holy shit. But, my mind's all over the place because it just gives me a headache. But I'm not going to not fight for the kids. I mean, I get just as emotional in your meetings as I did mine. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm too passionate about it. I, went through enough for my own story that it's kind of one of those things where when you've been through hell and back, you just don't want to see somebody else, like your worst enemy, even go through that. Like I would not wish that on my worst enemy, because who's suffering? The child. So I would never wish on my worst enemy, which I don't really have a worst enemy, but I mean, I would never do that, because the child's the one who suffers. So it is what it is. And I will never not be passionate about it, because my story is what made me do this and what has gotten a lot of IEPs back on track. Even in props of this school district, I already gave one prop, okay? I gave another one where I said, hey, we finally came together today and put the goals and present levels in place. And they put the things I wanted in place from the deficits. But you know how much I had to fight for that? It's almost like I gotta go through these boxing. I'm going to call the IEPs boxing matches for a second. All right. Those of you who want to judge that and think it's all crazy, get the hell off my page. Okay. I'm just being real, but I'm just going to call it that for a second. All right. So we go through 3, 4, 5, 6 boxing matches, and finally they're worn out. And then we have this moment of clarity, and they're worn out because they're the ones so busy fighting, doing the right thing. Not me. I'm not worn out. That's why I can keep going. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I don't get worn out because I'm not exerting myself and having to lie and come up with another lie to cover up that lie, to come up with that lie to cover up that lie, and having to sift through documents, give this child this benchmark. Benchmarks and running records are not in alignment with the science of reading. It's not in alignment with the proper types of assessments that you give children. They are not reliable. And so if you ever hear the word benchmark and you ever hear the word running record, meaning running record as in, I guess it's a revolving door, that means run the opposite way. Okay? Because neither are good. Okay? Neither. According to the science of reading, according to the National Reading Association, I could go on and on. Okay? Emily, I forget her name, Emily, she's a writer, reporter. She did this huge thing on Education Weekly and some other things in reference to reading and the science of reading and all the intricacies of it. And, one of the things that hit me, I've spoken about this before, how African-American children, just in the minority class alone, we're not talking about, Latino, we're not talking about anything else, at 86% at illiterate, and 84% in the state of Texas can't do math. That's unacceptable. I mean, I'm sorry. It just is. I mean, it's just unacceptable what's going on. And, the refusal to give one-to-one services, the refusal to give, the proper accommodations because they're not wanting to implement them across all settings. How many this year of AAC devices that should have been given to children that are nonverbal or hard of hearing that was not even offered an AAC device? I mean, that's like not being able to hear and not being offered an interpreter, someone who can sign. PECS is not always the way. the things that should be recommended are just not being recommended. It's like we gotta, have a book, what to expect when you got an IEP. It's like one of those things where you just have to focus on doing what you got to do to get your IEP in order, because if you don't, you're in trouble. And I mean it. You are in trouble. And because they are running with that, and they are not coming clean with the infidelity, the lack of fidelity that they're providing to IEPs, because they're very quick to fumble and try to put into play what they should in order to cover their ass. I mean, that exhausts me just saying all this to you. I mean, it's exhausting. I mean, it's got to be exhausting for them, don't you think? I mean, to have to lie, and then you got to lie again. You got to remember your last lie. So write it down. Remember your last lie, because when you come back to the table, you're going to have to go remember that last lie. Then if you lie again, you're going to have to remember that lie and the lie before. And then you're going to have to figure out what documents that you tampered with or that you didn't tamper with, or threw away, or didn't provide the parent everything they're supposed to have. I mean, that's exhausting. It's exhausting. It is. I'll never forget a therapist that literally went into the computer and screwed up because she tampered with documents. And we found out because all the documents actually stated when she went in to enter her time of doing speech therapy. And so it actually showed, let's just say hypothetically, February 14th. So it said February 14th for like 25 areas that she filled in. Yeah. So she went in and did 25 all at once and stated different things. And here's how we caught her. There was an IEP meeting on a certain day, all right? The day before and that day of the IEP, 2 of the 25 were dates that she tampered with and reduced the amount of therapy that she recommended at that IEP on that day. I mean, what the hell? I mean, literally, the stupidity. And we found it, and we knew right away, because we were like, hey, the IEP was on February 14th. It wasn't really February 14th. But on February 14th and February 13th, she reduced it 30 minutes, which is what she recommended on February 14th at 3 p.m. after the therapy was already done, that she reduced it 30 minutes. Stop. Watch your stuff, y'all. Watch your stuff. This is your kids' education. They deserve the best, in my opinion. And you deserve to have a child that receives a good education. And again, I will say, this is typically not teachers. Which is probably why they're quitting. From what I hear, just go on TikTok, y'all. They're tired of being treated like crap. Bottom line, I just want the school system to change. I am over the lies. And I will tell you what I'm over with parents. I'm going to be real transparent with you with that too. Is stop being scared. Stop being scared. Maybe I should say fear. Fear will ruin your life. Fear will run you. You are giving fear power over you because you're scared that the school district is going to do what? Because you're advocating for your kids. Who cares if they call CPS, y'all? Who cares? Let them do it. Tell them you'll call for them. That's what my mom used to do. I was a teenager. I would be, I'd be talking back, and I'm gonna call CPS on you. That's what I would say. Or I talked back. I did. I mean, surprise, right? So that was my only thing, though. And so my mom back then they didn't play. Okay, back then you got your butt spanked. Okay, now it doesn't happen. Go to jail or whatever. Who knows what happens? But the funny thing is, all right, I used to get switches. Anybody else get switches? So my mom would say, all right, do you want me calling for you? No, let me get the phone. Right? That's what you got to tell them. Do you want me to call them for you? What would you like me to tell them that I did? All right, be ahead of the game. I started taking time-stamped pictures of my daughter the minute she walked out the door and the minute she came in. If you're going to fight and you feel that feeling of they're going to retaliate, take time-stamped pictures the minute they walk out the door, the minute they come back in. Okay? But do not be afraid of anything. That's what they want. So you're either going to fight and you're going to advocate and you're going to get your child what they need, or you're going to allow fear to interfere with what it is that you have to do. And there's no such thing as being friends. Okay? So just let me know how that goes, because you're not friends. I mean, if they're playing you, okay, but you're not friends. All right. Now, teachers, they're great. They can be really great. But the minute you start advocating, even if it has nothing to do with that teacher, all of a sudden she's shushed or he's shushed. And that's what you have to start being careful of. It's not when you're getting along. It's not when you're not doing anything that things happen. It's when you start advocating and asking questions and questioning the things that are being done, because you can get along with whomever you want, however you want, and think somebody's nice or whatnot. But if they're not teaching your child and your child's not learning and you have questions and you start asking questions, then guess what's going to happen? You're no longer their favorite parent because you're asking questions. How dare you? How dare you? So don't allow fear, gaslighting, or bullshit to interfere with what you got to do. You do what you got to do for your child. You don't let fear control what you do. Okay? Just a pet peeve. The district administrators will retaliate against my parents for advocating. There ain't shit that the school can do. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. CPS or truancy is really all. Because when you're so caught up in doing something like they do, when you're in that situation, all right, that situation right now, they've already screwed up. You just got to find the screw up. They don't got you, you got them. And that's such an unfortunate way to think. Oh my God, it's so unfortunate. Because in reality, just do the right thing. That's it. You know? I mean, I'm flexible. I don't know about you. And I'm going to hop off here. But I've even thought about things because I'm an analyzer, okay? And I'm like, okay, as an educator, what would I do in today's day and age where things are rough? We have, less people and the schools are fighting even more because they don't have the people. And they're even bitching about, I don't know about you, but they're bitching about having IEP meetings because the teachers got to be in the classroom, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, you got to think outside the box sometimes. And it's like, okay, do we need to combine some classes and teachers? I mean, there's just different scenarios that can happen that may not be the ideal, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do until you bridge that issue and address it and do what what needs to happen. Just like with COVID, we had to, accommodate, for ourselves, for them, they had to accommodate for us. That doesn't mean things didn't go wrong. Of course they did. We all know that. But at the same time, it was just as much of a shock to them as it was us. And the only thing that happened is kids weren't served the way they should have been during COVID, because it's almost impossible for a child, most children with disabilities, to learn online. It's difficult for an adult with no disabilities to learn online sometimes. Maybe that's just not how they learn. So we have to, give credit where credit is due. And we also have to empathize and show appreciation, which I always do in the meeting, unless they directly lie to me. The teacher told me today, I told her about my awesome idea with goals, and how to write goals, and how to take data. All right. Those are my present levels and goals courses coming out. I know my membership's coming first. My present levels and goals course is coming out the end of April. My membership's coming out in 2 weeks. And I love present levels and goals in school districts. I drive them batshit crazy when it comes to present levels and goals. But I'm telling you, parents, that you ever want to say, hey, y'all didn't do this. My child's not learning this. She's struggling with this. She's struggling with that. And you don't got that in your present levels, you're screwed. Because you basically agreed to that IEP the way it was, and that deficit isn't in the present levels. So you have to be mindful of these things. You have to they were like, oh, we don't, I get this all the time. We don't have to put everything into the box. No, you don't, but you're going to put the deficits. If you have to take the positives and the strengths out and put the deficits in, then that's what you're going to do. But you're not going to put more positives than negatives in, because the whole damn point of the IEP is to work on the things that are needed and appropriate for the child individually. So if you're going to take anything out, it's going to be the strengths, because we already know the strengths. Mom knows the strengths. Caregiver knows the strengths. Dad knows the strengths. We all know that the child's awesome. So we don't need to know that any further. But what we do need to know is the deficit, so we can address them and create goals off of the deficit. All right, y'all. That's enough for today. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Thanks, Erin, for posting that link to the course. So I will talk to you guys later. Sorry for the rant and raving, but I just got an IEP meeting, so just I'm impacted today. Yeah. So I'm not responsible for my actions today, because the IEP meeting literally started at 9:30 in the morning and didn't end till 6:30 tonight. So I am out. I am tired. I'm going to eat dinner. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I really do. And I will talk to you guys soon. I hope everything's going good with your situations, and ranting and raving funny. So I hope everything's going good with your situations. If you need help, please message me. I do not have any spots open in March at all, but I am taking some April cases, not many. I want to say 3, because I am tapped out, but I will take 3 more, and that's it. All right. But my goal with my membership is to get more of you, mamas and caregivers and people and dads and everybody becoming advocates, because we need more of you, and we need the passion. So if you have passion, that's all you need. You don't need an education. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to have anything other than a passion for kids to learn, a passion for them to make progress, and the willingness to learn. That's it. That's all you need. There's no qualifications other than passion. That's it. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful night.